This afternoon. So we shall be crossing over to the business interview segment whereby we're joined by Lilian Gachoki, who is the Director of Dream Credit Limited and a senior member at Business Networking International. Well, thank you so much, Lilian, for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, perhaps to kick us off, tell us a little bit about BNI and how you joined that organization.
BNI basically is a networking organization. I've been a member for the last 8 years. And what is BNI? It's Business Networking International that connects entrepreneurs to co-create opportunities for each other through referrals.
All right, so how do business and professional referral organizations contribute to increased trade?
Normally what happens as a business, you may connect with another business where you can be able to get an opportunity in that business. So how this contributes is that when members come together with networking, in a networking organization in a structured way, there are opportunities they could explore. For instance, with BNI, it's a global institution that has been there for over 40 years. And this opens up not just about the Kenyan market, but it opens the opportunity in the global space in terms of increasing sales, and this can contribute to the economic prosperity of our nation.
So of the $4 billion worth of business generated through the Business Network International platforms last year, which were the main beneficiary sectors?
Out of the 54 billion worth of business generated, bulk of that went to legal, the financial industry, media advertising for members who are in the network. We also saw a lot of beneficiaries in terms of real estate and also construction industry. In addition, we saw the healthcare, the health sector being a beneficiary, not forgetting the retail trend.
All right. So, and as we look at trade, despite Kenya's hosting various domestic and international meetings, offering business-to-business networking platforms, securing markets remains the biggest headache to most of the businesses in the country. So where is the disconnect in this?
The big disconnect that we find is when people don't follow up to build long-lasting relationship. You get to a networking forum, you take business cards, but you do not follow up. So it's very critical to not only just to follow up, but also establish relationships where you could create partnership within those countries, connections, and it could also be a collaboration opportunity. It's also important to research and understand exactly what you want to sell and also utilize the local resources there.
All right, so perhaps as you say that there is need to follow up once the introduction or rather once the introduction happens, perhaps what are the business referral opportunities in the country?
Right now, what we are seeing, tourism is one of them. We're also seeing huge opportunity in agribusiness space. In addition, it's good to note that retail trend, and bearing in mind Kenya is a hub in terms of technology, and it's a Savannah Valley for Africa. So we find opportunity in ICT space. In terms of e-commerce, that is quite huge. And the fact that Kenya is a gateway to the East African community, that opens up opportunities for logistics as well as trade-related opportunities there.
All right, and how do those involved in business-to-business deals surmount barriers to trade, especially when dealing with buyers in other countries?
One of the biggest challenges people may encounter is lack of understanding in terms of international trade laws. is going to research and get to understand what does it entail, and what is the requirement of that specific market. It's also key to understand the cultural issues that come up in different markets. And with that clear understanding, you can be able to navigate. And BNI, for instance, provide very structured research in terms of what does that market entail. And for example, if I'm dealing with a BNI member or an introduction from maybe Uganda, I'm able to understand what do I need in that country in terms of the laws. So that, by and large, mitigates that challenge.
All right. So perhaps for those entering business to business with counterparts in other countries, what are the common issues that emerge involving international trade?
One of the biggest challenges that we see is lack of data. People don't taking advantage to get more information in terms of if I'm willing to sell in a certain market, say Europe, what is the data source like for that market depending on what I'm selling. So it's important to do the research. We also see a challenge, again, when it comes to the laws of the place. It's going to take professionals to assist you in that because that can be a huge challenge. And also to, when it comes to cultural issues, it's good also to consider getting local resources on the ground as well as seeking collaboration and partnership, which can mitigate some of these challenges. It's also good to mention about the logistical issues. Maybe you want to transport maybe tea to India. How are those logistics like? So those are some of the challenges that face business leaders.
Mm-hmm. So in 2022, BNI in Kenya and Uganda generated, or rather, it showed impressive referral statistics. So how do these figures translate to real businesses in the country, in both countries?
Normally when a referral is shared, it's an open door to do business. So the moment a member follows up, there's an opportunity to close that business. BNI is quite structured. There's a system which tracks all the business that we generate. So once you get a referral, it becomes much easier to close as opposed to cold calling. And imagine if you just walk into a business which is not a referral, will make you'll take more time to close what last supposed to be to a referral. I just want to give one case study. During our last convention, there is a member who collaborated with a business in Uganda, which generated about 1 billion Kenya shillings. That would not have been possible without a structured network, because sometimes when you're not in a structured network, the issue of trust comes in, and people do business with people they trust. So that platform has been an enabler to many business leaders.
All right, now looking ahead, what are your expectations of BNI?
Looking ahead, what are the expectations? To me, I feel from an economic point of view, referrals given generate more sales, which in turn help in our economic development in our area. And as we look at the future of BNI, we are looking at increasing our membership to 1,000 members. Currently, we are 554 businesses, and we are looking at growing that. And the why is the economic impact, because those are jobs that are created. When it comes to taxes, those are taxes being paid. So BNI is an enabler. So when I look from the global space, we are looking at growth. I look at, for instance, when during COVID, we still transacted as businesses. And the bigger why, because we are based on trust. And I want to give an example of a BNI member who is in travel and just joined. Then COVID hit in March, and she was wondering, do I leave BNI? But we came together and asked, what else can you do? And she was able to create opportunity where people can go to the park, and we supported that BNI member to be able to navigate. Were it not for that, travel was all closed, hotels were closed, she would have just close her business. So we come together even to support from ideas and also consume from each other. And those are opportunities.
Very well. Now, Lilian, we're coming to an end of this interview. Perhaps, what are your closing remarks?
My closing remarks is the emphasis on structured networking to create opportunities for businesses and contribute to the economic development. And it's also important for businesses, owners, and professionals to attend networking events like the East African BNI Convention that will be happening on 16th of August this year in Shapai in Naivasha. And what is in there? This connects the players in the East African region. And with that, one can be able to start the conversation that opens opportunities for referrals for one another. I believe together we can be able to create opportunities for one another, open the markets in the East African region, the fact that Kenya is a hub in the East African community, and in addition, this can contribute to the growth and prosperity of our region. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Lilian, for sharing your insights and inspiring. It is inspiring to hear how BNI has fostered such a strong network. Well, thank you so much, Lilian.
Thank you.
All right, now we cross over to sports news, where Sports Cabinet Secretary Abubu Namwamba has challenged the National